Monique Lindner was born to conquer life's challenges. 4 chronic diseases, an out-of-body experience after being clinically dead for 25 seconds, rape, a severe car accident, mental abuse in her teenage years, bullying and sexual harassment at work. All the pain Monique experienced made her so much stronger and enabled her to help so many others around her. Monique's pain forced her to thrive and turn her pain into her very own power. Today, she helps people to create the most powerful life they can, possibly, by transforming their mindset, building resiliency, authenticity, and an invincible will to fight for their dreams. And we are going to have an absolute blast today. Monique, you ready to do this?
I'm ready. Woo! I should hire you to actually read this out for me every single time. I should get that recorded. That was awesome, Chris.
Thank you. I'm taking applications for my, my voiceover work, of course.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you. So thanks so much for showing up today to share about your journey about being a conqueror of whatever life throws at you, all the wisdom that you've received for our audience. Thank you for showing up today. We appreciate you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So we're going to dive right into this concept, and I think you, more than most of the people on here today, are going to have a lot to say and share about this. So feel free to go wherever you want with this, dive as deep as you want. But the theme is, what is the gift?
Yeah.
And life throws some shit our way, let me tell you what. And when life does that, we have a choice to sit there and complain and or we can rise to the challenge, rise above it, see the gift, get the wisdom, get the lesson, and move on to live into our higher purpose. So, Monique, how has this principle of what is the gift and looking for the gift and the lesson in all that life has to offer us, how has that shaped your reality?
So, to be honest, I don't think I've ever really looked for the gift myself. I was literally like, life has thrown the gift at me. And I think I do have, I had issues to understand that this was my gift for a long time. So going back in time a little bit, I was 19 years old and I have chronic issues. I was born with 2 diseases and I added another 2 during my lifetime. And these 2 chronic diseases have caused a lot of issues in especially my pre-teenage years and my teenage life as well. And so when I was 19 years old, I was just in college and I had 3 jobs at the time as well to fund my college and, life, food and stuff. And so I just came home and literally the short version is I died like this. That's like the short version. And the longer version is I had one of my attacks with my nervous system disease. It literally escalated. I broke down. I knocked out. I was unconscious. I hit my head really badly. And I got one of those pre-seizures that is later following up in epilepsy, but I didn't have epilepsy. It was literally the pre-seizure. And I called my parents and I told them on the phone, I said, you have to be here in 5 minutes. I'm not sure if I'm making it. And they were like, what? I'm like, no, seriously, this is so strong. I've never had that. That's different from anything else that I have with this disease. Hurry the fuck up and bring an ambulance. I feel like I'm going off in a second. And I was right. I had this feeling already that this is something different than ever before. And why I had this attack, my parents, lucky me, they took me serious with that because they saw me thousands of times having this disease going on. And so they were pretty fast coming over. They just lived 5 minutes drive away and the ambulance was there, but I didn't even realize it anymore. So I knocked out and I had a cardiac arrest. and through that, a clinical death of 25 seconds. And I had an out-of-body experience. And funny enough, at that time, I was 19 years old, waking up, the first thought was, oh, that was cool. I didn't even realize how fucking lucky I was to die, come back. And then it took me literally about like 2-3 weeks to understand, oh, this was actually that close. It was so close. And I'm really, really lucky as well because I had a neurologist at the time. He is the best person ever that I had as a doctor. And he was already 76 years old and he still was working because he wanted to help people that much with this disease. And he had it himself. And he was like, always telling me he never met a person like me being so energetic, not having depression with this disease because it usually comes along. He said like he never met someone with this high pain level and high amount of attacks as well, that is still working a lot and doing all the things in life. He said he cannot even understand what kind of mindset I have to go through this. And this was first time in my life that I understood there's something in me that I have developed, something that must have been different from other people that have this disease, that makes me going through it in a different way, that makes me being more resilient to it, right? And so he told me because of this 25 seconds, I might have a little brain damage because, it can start with like 20 seconds. The breaking point usually is like 15, 20 seconds, maybe 25 if you're lucky. And to be honest, I didn't realize that there probably was a brain damage until I had to go back to college and learn. So my whole learning style changed. And it's ridiculous how crazy it is. And literally over the years, it turned out to be really a struggle. So I had to literally learn new how to learn.
Yeah.
And this was an experience I really actually struggled with a lot because I was a A student forever. Like you can put something in front of me, I read it once, I knew it. You tell me something, I knew it. I know conversations from when I was 5 years old, word by word. I remember everything that I've ever seen before this happened, right? And like my brain is literally a big storage of everything I've ever seen and heard and read by that time. It was that easy for me to learn. Crazy. And by the time it was like a switch, it was like, boom. And now I'm like, okay, I need to read it. I need to listen to it. I need to like talking it back to me. And I need to write it down what I want to, like literally all the learning styles you have. I need to go through them all to actually keep at least maybe 35, 50% of it. And it's like, oh God, could have been something different. But, I'm happy with that as long as I can still learn.
Right. As long as you're still alive, I mean, you'll win some, you lose some, right?
Yeah, that's right. But so it took me a long time, even longer, to understand how this event changed my life and how this has been like the greatest gift ever. Because, I was 19 years old and I was this girl, and in my head, I was like, I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel against society's expectations. I'm a rebel against parents who tell me I should do this, but really I'm doing this. But I realized I'm actually sucking at life, and I'm serious. I was unhappy. I worked my fucking ass off. I worked 20 hours a day for about 8 years. I started when I was 13. I didn't have a day off for 8 years. And I mean that, not one. Like, not Christmas, nothing. Like, I worked my bum off to get somewhere. I still didn't have money. Like, don't worry. There was no damn dollar in my bank account, not one. I had 3 jobs beside my college, also beside my high school already. And it was just crazy. I was And in my head, I thought like, I'm doing what I want. But really what I was doing was the opposite of what people would tell me. My parents would be like, you should do that. And I was like, no, I'm studying project and events manager so I can party all time long. And I mean, I'm really happy that I studied project management now, because it really helps me to, be structured, be organized. I can help other people with that as well, besides what I'm actually doing. But it's one of the things that people struggle a lot with.
Yes.
But in my head, I was like, fuck, I'm doing everything that other people tell me not to do, or that I think would help me rebel against someone. But I never do anything that makes me happy. Like, I never thought, like, what do I really want to do? What will bring me joy in my life? And so this was the turning point that I started thinking, what and how should I live my life? And what should I do really to actually be fulfilled and be happy? And then I started thinking about whom should I be around, Yeah. So I started ending friendships, like probably in a way that was not the nicest one as well, but they also just fell apart. It was literally because I changed, it just fell apart. I literally found myself without friends, without like a social environment at all, with changing jobs right away, and with everything falling apart, But it was good. It was really good, because it forced me to restart and figuring out what I want. And so I moved to London when I was 19 years old, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to move to London, and I'm going to, have my practical semester there, and organizing this I organized the biggest event for design in London that was going on Europe or even worldwide. I'm not sure. It was 2007. So that's like ages ago. And I organized that, and it was really good. But the time itself was the most chaotic thing ever. Like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. And I was 19 years old. I was trucked in a nightclub, and like, seriously trucked. I knocked out in this nightclub, and someone had, like, I don't even remember anything. I got robbed, and like, I lost over 2,000 euros. That's like about almost $3,000 maybe. And it was my parents' money, so even worse. And I had to pay it back somehow, right? So I got in serious trouble. There was a guy who was beating me up with like this huge plastic tubes that you use for water and everything from the toilet and the bathroom. So he was like going on me and beating me up with that. Like, there was everything going wrong that could go wrong. And so I came home and I was like, Monique, I can do that better. I can do that better. Like, that can't be it. I need to travel more. And so this is literally when I started traveling solo forever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it's seriously the greatest gift. Like, dying. First of all, to be honest, I want to say that it was not that bad. It didn't hurt other than the pain itself from the disease. But dying didn't hurt. It was quite peaceful. And for everyone who's afraid to die, you should, and this is like one of the biggest lessons I learned. Do not be afraid to die. You should rather be afraid not to live your life. If you're afraid to die, you're on the wrong side. You should be really afraid not to live. Because how many people just exist the whole life and then save money until they're like 60 or 70, and then they're like, now I have time to travel. That's like the biggest bullshit you can do. Right now is your time. Right now you're young, you're hopefully fit, like you can do whatever you want to do. Like, screw saving money. Like, what are you saving money for? And I'm not saying don't invest or something. I'm saying don't save money. Don't put it in a retirement thing. I'm very different from anyone else who's like, you should save money for retirement and for rainy days. What are you waiting for? You waiting for rainy days? Are you serious? Like, are you going to put your mind towards the negativity, right? Instead, you should invest in yourself right now. Go travel. Go, if you don't like travel, fine, stay at home. Like, build yourself a fucking mansion or whatever you love, you know? Whatever it is that is making you happy, do it right now. Like, leave this conversation and go do it.
Right. Stop listening, stop watching, just go do it.
Yeah, because you never know, right? To be honest, and this is facts that are really seriously heartbreaking. Every 40 seconds, someone is taking their lives. They're killing themselves because they have such a fucking miserable life. Every 40 seconds.
In the world? Suicide?
Yeah. They're taking their lives. And this is because for many different reasons, right? But one of the reasons is they are not seen, they're not heard, they're not understood from other people, and they're not happy. But happiness is not an external thing. We need to take care of our own happiness, right? We need to take responsibility for it. It's our thing. Like, as you read out in the beginning, you probably heard I've gone through many traumatic experiences. If I would have not taken the responsibility to turn that into my power and be happy again, I would probably, to be honest, I would have jumped off a cliff many times before. That, like, those is serious shit that I had to deal with. And yeah, you can blame other people, or you can take the responsibility and take the power back to yourself, turn it into something fucking awesome. And that's what life is all about. It's about you taking the responsibility and make it magic.
I love this. I love this conversation. So you really had some wake-up calls that had you become present to the value of life, that had you become present to, like, a lot of people are living in fear of death, and that transition transmuted to be afraid of not living a fulfilled life, and it transformed your perspective of how you live in the present moment, how you seek that joy, because, like, 40 years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, quote unquote, retirement, saving for that rainy day, or, you know, building the life you want then, you know, like, we're not promised that, right? So it's like, how can we step more into the present and, like, have enjoyment and fulfill our dreams now? And that's what you're sharing about and teaching your clients and all that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, for me, it's really important that I am able to share my experience and say, you know, you should be 100% your raw and real self. Do not try to copy someone. Do not try to be someone else, because this role is already taken, right? So you can't be someone else because it's already taken. They are already there. And we are all unique, and we should embrace that. Isn't that fucking awesome that we're only one time at this world? And how big is the chance that from millions of billions of sperms that you making it?
Wow. Yeah. One of a kind. So we were meant to be here. We were meant to have a purpose, and it's more than just fitting into a box and growing old and retiring and all that nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's not about, I know that a lot of people, they're like, yeah, but I need stability, I need security, that's all good. You can have it, you know. There are so many things that you can have stability and security with, but it doesn't have to be, it doesn't literally have to cut off your life now. It doesn't have to be, limiting, you can have an unlimited life experience now and still have security, and not everyone is made for a location independent life like I have, for example. If you want to have a 9-to-5 job, cool. But look for a 9-to-5 job where your boss is a fucking badass, who is supporting you, who is not limiting you, who is understanding, who is giving you enough vacation time. Take this vacation time. I know in the US you have like maybe 10 days or something. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Germany, by law, you have to have 22 days, which is literally a whole month, because weekends don't count as days to take off vacation. So it's like 22 days by law, because Germany understands that if you're working so much, and we literally work a lot, we work a lot of over hours that are not paid and stuff, but you need to have a break. You need to relax. You need to rejuvenate, If you don't do that, how the hell are you going to work, concentrate, focus, be creative? How the hell is that going to work? Like, why are Americans so much more sick than other people?
Mindset?
Yeah, statistics, actually, you can see it. It's because they don't have enough vacation time. They're not getting, they're not getting time off. They not have their bodies relax, and then not talking about the food and stuff. But anyways, it's just a way of living, It's if you really want a life, like a life, not an existence. If you want an epic life, you got to do everything in your power to do that. Yeah. Stop eating all this processed shit food. Sorry. But it's true. Like, can you imagine what this food's doing to you? That's just making me cringe so bad.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, like, if we focus on our perspective and how we view life, then we can add in that fun and living in the moment. And like you said, not everyone's going to necessarily want the location independent life. Not everyone's going to want to travel. Not everyone's going to want to, live an exotic lifestyle or, a luxury lifestyle. Some people might want to live with kind of more of a minimalist lifestyle. And I think as long as we are having fun and enjoying it and living in the moment, like this moment is everything, being present, being alive, being vital, like when we're being that way, showing up and playing and dancing in life, then that just creates room and space for anything to happen, for any possibility to come in, and for us to ultimately, like you said, fulfill that purpose. Like, we weren't here just for this meaningless existence. We're here for a reason. We're here to have a real experience through this lifetime, and we can experience that by giving ourselves permission and playing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think literally dying was the greatest gift, as understanding in, like, who am I, first of all, who am I really, but also whom do I want to serve, right? Because, like, for me, there are like 5 pillars for a successful and happy life. So the first one is health. If you're not healthy, like, what's the whole reason to be alive, right? Especially for me, I have 4 chronic diseases, but I take care of myself as much as possible so I can travel the world. I can go to places that are maybe not as safe as anywhere else that we know, but I can still go there to make sure that I fulfill my life with experiences, because that's what I'm all about, right? The second one is family and friends. I have cut out so many friends in my life, and I had to finish relationships and friendships, and seriously, it's not fun. This is not fun. It hurt as it's painful, but I tell you, if you don't do that, you're limiting yourself. You won't ever be able to grow. If you have something that's greater than yourself and you want to serve, you got to surround yourself with people that are doing the same. Like you and me, for example, if I wouldn't have met you, I wouldn't have understand some things that I've learned from you already, you know? And it's like how to be your greatest person ever, right? And so it's, you know, sometimes you're meeting people that you're supposed to meet and then you have to let go of someone else. It's just how the game works.
Right.
And there's just so many people in your life that you can hold very close to your heart. And the others, they surround you, they should lift you up. If there's just one person in your life that is not lifting you up, it will hold you down, even though you have any other person that would literally support you and cheer you on. But just one person that is toxic can literally bring you down, you know? And you gotta eliminate that person. I mean, not, you know, eliminate it from your friend circle. Please do not go and eliminate the person in real life. Just cut it off your Facebook friend list. That's enough for now. Well, some person take it for real, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's what you're saying is the total truth. You know, it's been told to us by Jim Rohn and all these people. You're the average of the 5 people that you're around the most, and so many of us kind of just get thrown into life, thrown into social circles, thrown into, you know, being born into a certain family, right? In a certain class. And most of us aren't born into like this wealthy, awesome, you know, around the best types of people. And, you know, these people are the people who we want to be with forever. And so we must grow along the journey, and oftentimes we're going to outgrow people because a lot of people don't like to grow and get uncomfortable and challenge themselves. And oftentimes the people who are tuning into stuff like this and content and podcasts are like challenging ourselves to grow so fast that we outgrow people. Even if someone wants to grow, we're going to freaking like quantum leap their ass because we're just hungry for it, right? We're like hungry to make the difference. We're hungry to show up and live our purpose, and we're going like full throttle. And if people aren't going to keep up, then they're going to slow us down. And as I feel like, as crappy as that sounds, like oftentimes I've looked at friendships in the past and how almost willing I was to move on to the next level because I didn't see it was serving me. You know, it's like we do what's best for us, and listen to your intuition, listen to your source, and know that if you're not fulfilled, if you're not experiencing joy at the highest of levels, and you're excited and stoked to be around the people that you're around, and everyone's growing, then it's your responsibility and your obligation and your duty to do what you got to do to get into new circles.
Yeah, that's totally right. I can only agree. And I had friends, they're not even aware of growth, and they're not aware of their own limitations. And so sometimes I was like, do you actually know what's hindering you from getting there, or what's hindering you from getting this and this? Because they're always like, you know, this is always happening to me, and this is not working for me, and this is why I don't have relationships. And in my head, I'm just, you know, I'm a mindset and transformational coach. And in my head, I have all the patterns running down for them, and I want to help them, and I would love to coach them, kind of, but that's not my role for them, right? I'm a friend. So I'm just asking the question, like, are you sure? Are you sure that's it? Because
is that really the truth?
Is that your truth? Because I don't think so. There's another reason for it. But then they're not open to hear the truth, you know, and you just can't help them. It's just, you can't help everyone, you know. And sometimes it's really painful to see that as well, and to have to literally let it go. Because if they don't want to, like, it's with everyone, right? It's with clients, same as with family, it's with friends, with everyone around. You just can't rescue and save everyone, and you shouldn't try. It's going to destroy you as well, right? I tried that for many years before I even was a coach. And man, this was so painful. I tried to rescue so many people, and I just couldn't. And this was one thing that was so destroying for myself, to see like I wasn't able to save all these people, you know? And I think this was a good thing that I experienced that before I even became a coach, that I learned this lesson before I even like went into this venture of becoming a coach, because without this lesson, I would have probably tried to save everyone still, you know. So yeah, sometimes you have to let go.
Yeah. Wow. So you mentioned mindset and transformational coach. Love that. Let's dive into that even more. What does that mean, and like how can we help our audience transcend some bullshit that they're dealing with right now, and get to their next level?
Yeah. Cool. So, I mix up a little bit of a different stuff. So as I said, I'm a project manager, right? And a lot of people have a lot of difficulties to organize themselves, organize their lives, organize their businesses. And so what I really help with is bringing these two areas of mindset and productivity together and literally help them accelerate their lives. So I focus on businessmen and entrepreneurs, male entrepreneurs. Because I have I think I have the experience of being on both sides. So growing up as a girl doesn't mean that I was treated always as a girl. So I know that social conditioning for men is really big as well as for girls, right? So I had kind of both experiences. Even though I was treated as a girl, obviously, being told you have to be nice, don't wear the short skirt. Oh, have you been drunk, being raped? Like the social conditioning for girls and for women is crazy. Like in this kind of regards, like you shouldn't trouble anyone, you shouldn't be loud, don't have a voice, don't even think about it, don't look good because that's your own fault then, So it's this kind of spectrum that we experience. But on the man's side, it's like, be angry, be strong. Don't be a pussy. Don't cry. Don't have emotions. And what, you have feelings? No, suppress them, because that's totally wrong. You're not gonna be like a gay guy. Like, you're not gonna be gay. Like, why is gay wrong at all? Like, anyways. But you get me, Like, as a guy, they tell you not to be a girl. Literally. And as a girl, they tell you, don't be anything. Like, don't be anything that's like, just be quiet.
Yeah.
Kind of, if I can generalize that. There is way more to that, right? But I experienced both because with my chronic disease, so it's called migraines. I know a lot of people know migraines, but the way that people know migraines is just a social excuse for having sex, and that's not the way that migraines work. Yeah, in society, a lot of people, when they don't want to have sex, they say, "Oh, I have migraines."
What? I've never heard that before.
Really? Oh, it's such a stigma that migraines have I think in especially the Western world, and it's so annoying because really what it is, it's a nervous system disease, right? And it's actually really affecting a lot more. It's not headaches. A lot of people think it's headaches, but it's way more than that. So anyways, so I started to have migraines when I was 4 years old. I was born with it, but they started out when I was 4 years old after my kidney surgery. And one of the attacks, so I'm trying to wrap this up quickly. So an attack would literally start with a jackhammer hitting my head. So that's the only way I can describe the pain. Yeah. I would usually start feeling so nausea and sick that I would vomit wherever I was. Like in a second, I was being a fountain. I was like, poof. I would also be unconscious very often. Sometimes I would just be unconscious in a second. So I would fall down the staircases or on the street in front of cars or wherever it is. And as a kid, I would not be able to recognize the signs that would show up that the attack is coming. Because I was 4 years old. How the fuck do I know that a migraine attack is coming, Right. And obviously I wasn't able to say anything. Like there was no way for me to express how I feel, what emotions are coming up. And so because it's an invisible disease, you can't see anything. You can't see my eyes rolling back, like nothing. I look totally normal.
Yeah.
I do not, well, I behave weird, but for people that was more, this is a weird kid rather than she has a disease kind of behaving. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't, sometimes I had spatial perceptions, misperceptions. So I would run into doors because I thought they would like be 3 meters on the other side. Wow. So my brain would shut down on different areas, and therefore I had neurological disorders. Mm-hmm. Like I would drop a bottle because my hand would just open, my nerves wouldn't work anymore. Mm-hmm. I would not be able to talk. So sometimes people would talk to me. In my head, I was responding, but the connection between my brain and the actual peripheral nervous system wouldn't work anymore. So I was responding in my head, but wow. My mouth wouldn't talk. And then I was thinking like, why don't they say anything, right? And they were looking at me, well, you don't have to talk to me, and would leave. So they thought I was rude. And this was going on even in my professional career. Very, very dangerous. Anyways. So, you know, I was told very often, don't cry. It's nothing wrong with you. You just pretend to be sick. You just want attention. Don't play a sick girl. So all the kind of conditioning that men get in regards to emotions, feelings, and all this kind of thing, I got from my surrounding, people and like teachers, classmates, whatever. I got that too. And so I had social conditioning from being a girl and the masculine social conditioning for being sick. And this made me like being in a very strange position. Mm-hmm. So my masculine part of myself came out even more than the feminine one. And so I was really more like my masculinity, I think, was more in the foreground than my femininity for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I was the strong one. I thought crying was weak. I would never cry, even though the pain was tremendous. It was killing me, but crying didn't help anyway. So I was like, I'm not going to cry, right? I would not talk about feelings and emotions. Even later in relationships, I would never say anything like, I feel sad or I feel angry, or like I would never use those words. I was just overreacting as soon all the emotions would have bottled up, and then I was being like a bomb, you know? So I think men can relate to that a lot. And what happened when I was raped the first time and then the second time 9 years later, I was literally throwing into my feminine part in the worst way that you can, because it was literally taken away from me kind of without me being in there, right? So what makes me work with men is that I can relate, first of all, to all the social conditioning they went through. And I feel like that men and women are so separated in our society these days, right? We're told like, men are bad, women are bad, this is not working, that is not working, blah, blah. Women work with women, men work with men, and that's all cool. But I don't believe in that. I believe we should work together. Mm-hmm. And I believe that we should find solutions with each other. And I believe that in actually having a symbiosis of male and female power, that we can produce the best ever version of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so this is my goal, to help men, first of all, be the most powerful version of themselves, be raw and real. Mm-hmm. Have the freedom to come out and feel emotions, feel the pain, feel whatever they need to feel. And I've gone through exactly the same, so I can guide them through that as well. And then to actually be successful and happy in their lives, they need to go through their story and find the pain points there and turn that into their power, And I feel I'm one of the best people they can do that with, because I can't even count how often I have done that. And I am a fighter. I'm a warrior, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm still this really powerful person. I'm not weak whatsoever. I do have weaknesses. I have a lot of weaknesses, but I use them as a strength, you know? And so I feel I can be one of the best guides for men to go through their inner struggles and help them to actually get out of there, you know? And for me, I don't believe in, you know, how people always say overcome and forget about and cut out and whatever. I don't believe in that, because it's a part of you. If you haven't gone through that, you wouldn't be where you are today. Right. So I'm working with it, you know? That's why I say turn the pain into your power, because you want to keep it. You don't want to forget about it. You want to work with it. You want to make it yours and own it, you know?
I hear integration. How do you integrate it into you and not be ashamed of it, not be guilty about it or feel guilt or whatever, but like accept it, not, I don't know, like embrace it as a part of you, and how do you, like you said, how do you turn it into power?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And it's about owning your story. It's not living it again, because there's a difference between living in your past but owning your story and making yours to actually help others or be this powerful person that you can be, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is why I decided to work with men and help them do the same.
Awesome. I love it. So what kind of transformation do you provide them? What does that look like, and how can we give our audience some gold, or like how can we do some transformation right now? What's something that we can do to start making progress, shift our mindset, something like that?
Yeah. So, you know, I feel like the most common thing with men is they suppress feelings, emotions, right? Some are not even aware of that they had some traumatic experience in their lives that actually now limits them and holds them back. So because of that, they have a lot of self-doubt or compare each other with, I should be way further because this person is already there and I'm there and I start at the same time. And like, why is it, like this comparison thing? And then you feel me?
Yep.
Or the self-doubt about, why is it that I haven't gone as far? Why is it that I only make 5,000 and not 15,000 per month? Why is it that I can't scale my business further than that? And they literally think, and that's just a generalization right here, but a lot of men think it's their skills, it's their knowledge, it's information that's missing, and they literally don't bring it back to their mindset or something that happened to them that's limiting them now to go ahead and move forward with their success, either in life or in business, right? So when I tell you, for example, that someone I worked with, it was very obvious that he could never finish any projects. So he's like, oh, I'm super excited. But then along the way, he would literally not finish his project and he would lose interest. And when we were talking, he was like, I think this is not the right thing. So he was literally always thinking that it was not the right thing. It was not his purpose. It was too boring. Maybe he had to learn too many skills, and he wasn't interested in learning in the skills. And then I asked him this question, like, was there someone in your life telling you that you were not able to finish something? And he was looking at me and he was like, why do you ask that? I'm like, was there, like, just a question. Is there anyone in your life that made you feel like you were never able to finish something? And so we were digging deep, and it turns out that his dad would always make him feel like he would never accomplish something and he would never be able to finish something. And he would fall into this victim mindset of he's not good enough, first of all. And second of all, well, my dad said I can't do this, so I can't do this. And because I need approval, the easiest approval he could get was not to finish projects. So instead of finishing one and get the approval of I actually can do this, because this is the hardest way to go, right? The easiest way of approval for us is to approve what other people say about us. And so he would always fall back and would never finish projects. And so what we had to do there was, first of all, we had to write down all the limiting beliefs and everything that would come up with all the things that his dad would say to him. Then we would actually create patterns. And this is what everyone can do. So the first thing is acknowledgement. You need to find out what is it actually that's holding you back. It's not skills, and I can promise you it's never your skills, because everything you need is inside of you already. And you can learn anything you want, but there's something else that's holding you back, and it's usually in your mind.
Yep.
And so acknowledgement is the first thing. If you cannot admit, if you cannot find this piece in your story that caused this pain, you will not be able to change it. So acknowledgement is the first step. The second step is, from this point, you need to create patterns. So find out which patterns you have created through this pain. How did you behave? What triggered this pain, right? And so for him, it was, for example, that he would always get excited with new projects. And whenever it came to the point where he would usually create success and come to the point where it would take off, he would lose interest. And so as soon as we found this pattern, we could recreate a new pattern of behavior, actions, and reactions for him to implement each time he would work on a new project.
Wow.
And then the most important thing is taking action. So as soon as we knew that, he had to find a new project to work on and follow these steps. Because if you wait for something, then, well, it's like Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. If you don't get out of bed in the morning after 5 seconds, you stay in. Right?
Yes.
So our mind, and you know it the best, right? Our mind is programmed for survival. We have not evolved into anything else. We are still cavemen and cavewomen in our brains. It's programmed for survival. Any threat to our brain is alerting us to do anything but survive. And so success is actually not programmed. We have to force our brain to succeed. And that means that we have to go through the alerting system of our brain and tell it to shut the F up. So whenever there is an alerting thing saying like, threat, don't do that, you have to tell them, whatever, shut up, and do it anyways. That's seriously, and that's a daily thing. And I want to make this clear, and I make this clear for every of my clients. If you're looking for a magic pill, if you're looking for a transformation that's literally like a magic stick and transforming you in like a day, 20 days, 90 days, whatever, this is bullshit.
Yep.
There is no such a thing with mindset work anyways that will heal you, transform you, or whatever in like 14 days, 20 days, 90 days, whatever, and you're done. Mindset work is a lifelong work. If you stop, you fall back. And this is something that I don't like about all the gurus out there that are saying like, come to my event and you're transformed. Yes, but the event you go to, it will transform you only if you keep on working afterwards.
Yeah.
The event is the start of everything.
Yep. So yeah, it's like the breakthrough, but the transformation like living that is completely different. The event, like a 2-day, 3-day event, is the intensive, it's the breakthrough, but you need the spaced repetition for things to become permanent.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And so the University of London has just released, not just like maybe a year ago, a study that for habits to be implemented and programmed in your mind, you need 66 days.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say 21 and 30. Mm-hmm. That's not correct. It needs 66 days. I always use 90 because with 90, you can actually rewire your brain cells.
Mm-hmm.
So they said 66 days is the minimum, 90 days is the safe version of it. Mm-hmm. So I use the safe version because with 66 days, sometimes people still stop doing it, you know? Mm-hmm. With 90 days, you're literally on the safe side. So if you want to implement a new habit or break one, use 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
For it to be permanent. I love that.
Exactly.
I love that. Awesome. So, Monique, we're beginning to wrap up here. Time is flying the freaking heck by.
It is.
Any last minute, words of wisdom, inviting our audience to step into a whole new, paradigm, a whole new reality. Let's drop that fire, drop those bombs on these guys right now.
Yes. All right. So, guys, our life can end just in a second.
Yep.
And you want to make sure that you live every single day to the fullest power that you can. If you think about today, what is it what you really want to do? Stop giving fucks on every single thing and give a fuck on yourself, your happiness, and people you care about. Your power is within you. It's nowhere else. You don't need to search for a purpose. You don't need to search for a gift. It's within you. Just look inside of you and bring it out. And the real power is to live. It's not to exist, it's to live. And there is no magic formula. You just need to listen to your heart. And that's all you gotta do. So if you want to know how to live a life, imagine what if you die tomorrow? What would you do today? And if you ask this question every single morning, what am I going to do today to make this day the most fucking epic day in my life? What if I die tomorrow? And then you're going to live your life powerfully.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Awesome. Monique, how do people stay connected with you, and what do we want them to do next?
Well, we definitely want them to get in contact with me. I do have an upcoming masterclass, which is getting them productive as hell. So it's going to be next week. They can find it on my profile. So they just got to click on my name right now. And from there, I can take them anywhere else onto my website where I have a lot of information. And yeah, get in contact with me on my profile. And my masterclass will get you productive as hell. So you have more time, be less stressed, and get more life back for yourself.
Amen. Hey, to the freaking men. Monique, I'm so excited to be hearing and receiving and sharing your journey and story with our audience, because you've seriously gone through a ton. And in spite of it all, you are a freaking champion. You're a conqueror. No matter what comes your way, you're unstoppable, and you're amazing. And you got the whole feminine aspect down too. You're beautiful. You're awesome. So keep up the amazing work. I can see you going big places in this lifetime, and I'm really grateful that we're on the journey together, and you're a freaking superstar. Keep it up.
Thank you so much, Chris. And I hope I can see you soon on a big stage. So we should definitely get out there together.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. Have the best day ever. We'll see you soon, okay?
Yes, see you soon.
See you.
Bye.